The programmatic theme has been pretty aggressively at play for probably the last 3 years in Europe. In a weird way, probably more driven by the traditional TV players, the traditional TV budgets, than by maybe the traditional digital budgets. So you see a lot more what we call TV share shift spending in the TV budgets, which is shifting into digital devices. It tends to be programmatic by its very nature. Probably less so in the classification of programmatic that's just purely RTB. Purely exchange-based. You see a lot of private network deals, you see a lot of existing trading deals with our clients, with media sellers, who are actually finding ways to access the highest echelons of content, but do so in a programmatic way. And that's probably the most interesting trend we're seeing. We're seeing that play out in the UK, Germany, France, Spain, Italy, and in places like Japan, as well as Australia these days. It's starting to come up as well. So it's not just a European phenomenon, it's definitely taking shape in the big TV markets in Asia as well. As it relates to the part of the market that we deal with most, which tends to be the higher end, kind of uber quality stuff, broadcast level quality content, or content that could be broadcast level if it were, we generally see that those people are very comfortable with having programmatic relationships with the advertising community, the advertising holding companies or specific advertisers. We're seeing less willingness to put those same impressions into open exchange environments. Almost a non-existence of that super high quality inventory. Now, that will evolve, that will change, but the real growth area we see is our clients dealing on a private exchange matter, so purely programmatic. But I think for the publishers, the big broadcasters especially, giving them a level of control which they've always felt was important, given that their content is their crown jewels, and their ability to maintain a level of command and control over it's been very important. The theme that we've seen, and we mentioned it earlier in terms of some of the European, even some of the Asian activity, is this kind of blending of screen buying and planning, and the automation around it. So the notion that as a person on the media buying and planning community, you are looking at screens as opposed to a TV screen or a flat panel TV screen or a digital device. So as we see screens kind of converge, you're starting to see screen planning being a much more normal development within our agency partners. So you're seeing the groups that are working on how do they plan television and complement it with digital distribution on PCs, on tablets, on mobile phones. And that's becoming a very normal thing. Much more normal thing in many cases of the big TV markets in Europe than it has to date from what we've seen in the US. So we think that trend, that trend is ripe for spreading. Cannes is a great experience because it tends to bring people from all around the world together to compare notes on things that they're seeing as successful or failures. And we would see that as being one of the big trends that we would definitely see pollinating into other parts of the world pretty quickly, given the level of automation it's bringing, given the efficiencies it's bringing to our clients, and quite frankly, just the common sense of being able to plan against the way consumers consume content on screens versus saying, I'm purely doing it on a television environment or I'm purely doing it on a PC environment, which to date has been the way it's been done.
And the whole notion of automation is picking up steam. We've heard, statements from Magna Global, Matt Seiler, about moving things radically to automation. Where do we stand in that evolution to automation?
I think you have a handful of very proactive, very aggressive players like Matt and like others, his peers in other agency holding companies are really making a play for that. I think for the first time, the reality of what automation brings in terms of a new way of approaching the agency business is something that really excites them. It's been, it is a business which is on the verge of a big revolution in terms of the way they service their advertisers. And automation is something that actually benefits the advertisers and the agencies at one and the same time. And that's from a traditional agency advertiser relationship, that's a really exciting thing for both of them because they're going and selling efficiency, improvement, not just a new thing that costs money. And so that's really exciting, and I think there are those who are setting some big ambitious goals in terms of the level of their media spend that they want to be automated, and that's really driving it. I mean, we benefit from that today, knowing that a lot of our clients are pushing for big, lofty goals like that, and doing it by shifting television spend into these more automated forums is the only way to achieve it.